Hi, I'm Gardener Scott. Join me today as I show you how to divide and propagate ornamental grasses. A few weeks ago, I did a video on how to prune ornamental grasses. I'll give a link to that at the end of this one. Since then, they've grown quite well, and I can see which ones have reached a point that they're ready to divide. And when you divide your ornamental grasses, that's a way of propagating. So I'll be able to move some of this grass to another section of my yard. As ornamental grasses age, they begin to put on new growth on the outside of the plant. What this means is older plants will actually begin to die in the interior of the plant. So when you begin to see old, dead stalks in the middle or the inside of the plant, that's a good indication that it's time to divide. I like the location of these three ornamental grasses, but the one in the forefront is getting just a little too big, and the inside is the one that's starting to die out. So I'm going to divide this one and then put a portion of the plant back in the same spot so that I don't lose the visual element of these three working together. Dig all the way around the grass, and then you want to try to remove it in one big clump. With the grass clump out of the ground, now it's time to split it. I'll typically only do 2 pieces, but you could easily do 3 or 4. Anywhere that has good active growth will reward you with a whole new plant. You can try to separate this using your spade, but these grasses can be quite dense and actually very difficult to split. My tool of choice is an axe. Put the grass on the ground, avoiding rocks or any other objects. Swing the axe. You'll have to do this a couple times, maybe even more with larger clumps. You can use a tree saw or a pruning saw, but this is really the method I like. You can see how effective it is at dividing the clump. In the same hole, I'll return half of what I cut. You want to make sure that it's at the same height as it was before, and I'll just fill in the hole with soil around the edges. I'll make sure that I put the mulch back around the grass, and then I'll water it in very well. I've decided to nestle this piece of the grass in amongst this salvia and sedum. I think it'll be a nice accent. I've prepared the hole by digging it to the same depth as the root ball, and then I just place the plant in the hole using the soil that I dug out to fill around it. There will be soil left over, and I'll actually move some of this back to the original hole because there were a few spaces that needed to be filled in. I'll pack down the soil around the roots. Make sure I have mulch all the way around and water this one in very well too. I can expect this grass to be normal height by the end of the season. I can also expect in a couple years I'll need to divide this one as well. It was pretty easy with the axe, but for bigger grasses, bigger clumps, you might actually need to use a chainsaw. Don't use a new chain, however, because the soil will dull it immediately. So I actually keep some old, dull chains in my workshop to use when I need to divide the heavier and more dense clumps. It's a wonderful way to clean up the original area that got overgrown and use this propagation method to add grass to other areas of the landscape. There you have it, how to divide and how to propagate ornamental grasses. If you have any questions or comments, let me know below. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so below as well. And if you like the video, you can give me a thumbs up. I'm Gardener Scott. Enjoy gardening.